guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for, I think we are up to day 5 of using up an entire paper pad. We've been doing the series to, you know, go ahead on the days in between the Christmas and New Year period. So would you believe I've only actually got 3 pages left in my paper pad. Now, obviously, I don't want you to think that I'm cheating here. So I just want to point out, I do still have some pages left, which I have kept by to decorate the folio pieces that we have made. So yeah, I've got a couple there and I've got a couple to go with the other folio that we made. So I don't want you to think that, you know, I'm kind of, what would the expression be? Like pulling a fast one, I think they say. Yes, I'm not doing that. We do have those pages still left, but they're kind of earmarked for making ephemera and things to put into the folios, which of course I'm not sure whether we're going to be able to fit that into the 6 days. But they're earmarked and they will be used up on those. So the actual paper pad, we've only got obviously, you know, these 3 pages left. So I mean, definitely we'll come back, you know, for the 6th episode and certainly hopefully make some pieces with the other, you know, the other pages. Right, so today what I thought we could do with these 3 pages is I'm going to just show you this. Now, this looks pretty rubbish, I have to say, but I think it could look pretty nice once it was decorated up and kind of, yeah, altered around. So I'm just going to kind of show you what it is. Basically, it's from my 12x12 paper pad. This is obviously a prototype that I've made. Now, I've got this idea from years and years ago. I made these little kind of mini album open things like this, and obviously on that this also flipped down, but I thought actually this made quite a nice kind of little you know, pocket kind of piece, and then it all folds in together. And you know, I think this could actually work really nicely in a junk journal once you kind of decorated the front up and things. So let's go for this. Now, I have to say, I kind of struggle to make these a little bit, so I'm a bit nervous about doing this video because, you know me, I can't measure. I can't measure, you know, because if I try and measure it, I'm just rubbish and I will not make an accurate job of it. So I have to kind of judge this by eye. And of course, we're kind of trying to fold the paper into thirds. So, you know, I would probably recommend measure this and do it more accurately than I'm doing it here. But of course, I don't get on with kind of measuring, so I'm just judging by eye. Now you can see straight away I have gone wrong, and straight away my piece is nowhere near here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go in instead, like that. And you know, I mean, it's not the end of the world. So long as your pieces are more or less, then it can be altered. I mean, do you see? I've folded it inwards now instead of like that way round, if you see what I mean. And look, my piece now lines up absolutely perfectly. So, you know, judge by eye or not, depending on how you find it easiest. So, yep, I'm just going to fold that down there. So you've got your 3 folds now. And then you're going to turn your paper around and you want to do exactly the same for the other way round. So again, take your paper, fold it over, squish it down with your bone folder. And this piece, which again you can see it's nowhere near meeting here, so again I'm just going to take it in this way like that, okay, and squish that down like that. Now you can probably see, I mean, I've left a sort of millimetre or maybe 2 millimetres just gap there. That's absolutely fine. This will all be very forgiving once it kind of is finished. So you can kind of see my piece is, you know, it's literally overhanging slightly, but yeah, not a problem. So my next nerve-wracking piece, which I'm also not very good at, so I'm now questioning why did I pick this project to do, is to cut out all 4 squares from the corners. So I'm not very good at cutting, you know, when you've got a fold and you have to cut, let me put my glasses on, and you have to cut exactly kind of on that fold line. So yeah, I'm not very good at doing things like this. Some people seem to manage this perfectly. I always end up with that sort of slight curl, you know, where I haven't quite managed to go over the fold, if you know what I mean. So, but again, you know, this is quite forgiving and you can then just trim it up. So, you know, and to be honest, if you can't trim it up, I'm sure we can easily cover it up. So, you know, don't despair. If your piece isn't turning out quite as neat as you'd hoped or as accurate as you'd hoped, you know, it can just be altered. Please don't kind of, yeah, think that you have to kind of bin it or anything like that, because you just don't. Okay. So these things that we do, they're just like tweaking, aren't they? Final tweaks. Okay. There we go. Like that. And this piece here. So obviously you've got these 4 squares now. Now again, you could keep these 4 squares for things, oops. Gosh, I'm so shoddy. Can you see I've just now torn that paper? There we go. You could keep these now to make things like clusters or, you know, anything else really. You could make kind of miniature tags, you know, whatever you like. So I'm just going to kind of put these to one side like that. So what you have now is, let me move this so you can see slightly easier. What you have now is this kind of fold in kind of, yeah, basically like a pocketbook. So what I'm going to do is bring this piece up here, and what we want to do is obviously cut this down to make an actual pocket. So I'm just going to trim that down here. And again, you know, don't stress, you can kind of have your pocket as tall or not as you want. So, oops, just need to come down slightly more. Oh gosh, I'm making a horrible, horrible job of, oh my goodness. Horrible job of cutting this. Okay. And again, what I said about kind of tweaking this, you know, depending on, you know, if you've got pieces that, sorry, I'm just moving the camera slightly. If you've got pieces that fit better, you know, you may want to turn yours round or something like that. So, you know, just adjust it to your folds that go in best, if you see what I mean. So for this, I just need to trim up slightly, very, very, very slightly, probably not even a millimetre off of those edges, just to make sure it's going in and not compromising where the sides fold in, if you see what I mean. So literally just take those corners like that, and then my sides fold in without kind of getting, you know, hitting into this, if that makes sense. Now I've got this high tack glue. Now I have to say, I just bought this the other day because yeah, there seems to be a shortage of the Anita's tacky glue that I always use, and yeah, this was all I could get. I have to say it was very expensive, so I'm hoping that I don't really like it, because well, I mean, I'm hoping I like it enough for this video. Oh, you must have to cut the top off, I think. Do you? Perhaps? I'm not sure now. Sorry, I've not actually opened this obviously previously. Let me just see whether the glue's coming out or whether I need to cut a... Perhaps I need to cut a thing. Or poke, maybe poke. Perhaps I should just try poking first. Hold on. Yeah, there seems to be a shortage on that Anita's tacky glue. And this one is quite a small bottle. I can't remember now whether it was... I'm trying to remember whether it was £3, which just sounds like absolutely extortionate, but yeah, I think it was £3. And now there's a shortage on the Anita's tacky glue everywhere, so I can't actually seem to get it at all. I don't know what's going on with this nozzle. I'm sure there's loads of you out there who probably buy this glue regularly and think, what is going on with this woman? Why can't she fathom this out? But yeah, too much for me. Right, good. It's now working. Now I've poked the nozzle with my poke tool. But that said, it did seem to need, you know, poking and cutting, or cutting and poking. It didn't seem happy just poking. So, right. So I can then just fold my corners in and glue this down. So like I say, I haven't ever used this glue before. I don't know how fast drying it is. So let's really hope that it is quite fast drying, because it will be quite annoying if it's not. So again, I've got another scrap here. I could keep this, but to be honest, I'm not. I mean, again, you know, you could make a second pocket here, so as you could have like a double pocket. Yeah, I mean, you can do all sorts of tweaks like that. You could put it on another side, you know, just depends really kind of what you do or what you want to do. Well, perhaps I'll do another pocket. but I might make it slightly smaller still. Like that, okay. And then we can just glue that over there. Okay, now I saw Rachel over at Roxy Creations do this brilliant kind of, well, I guess people would describe it as a hack, where she was able to put her 2 pieces of paper together and do her thumb holes so that they're exactly in the right places. So let's do that with this, and I probably should have not glued this down because of course now it's going to be difficult to get to. And I guess this is the test for how quickly that glue dries. It seems like it's glued pretty quickly, I must say. Right, let's get that over there. Okay, there we go. So I've got my 2 thumb holes. Just press that down again. Right, so just want to, oh, actually, shall I have that reverse? Although no, my thumb hole won't be matching up, and that's a shame that I didn't really think of that, isn't it? They're now off center. I could just cut that away and just slide it over slightly. Yeah, I could do that. I might have to do that because I do quite like it the reverse way. So yeah, let me just cut this side off slightly. Okay, and then we can hopefully, oops, just need to cut that down slightly more. So sorry, I'm mucking about here doing these U-turns, but sometimes things don't really occur to you, do they, until you come to actually do it. So yeah, again, just going to glue this down. So obviously it needs glue right the way along the bottom as well. Okay, oops. Okay, right, press that down like that. Okay. Well, so far, so good with that glue. I mean, annoying, because I did say, didn't I? I hope I don't like it, because it's pretty expensive. But yeah, it does seem very fast drying, which is fantastic. Okay, so that's my little booklet. And then obviously these fold over like this, and then this is going to be my top flap folding over. So I just need to quickly cut this slightly down. So this is, you know, again, this is all just due to my rubbish cutting, you know, when I have to cut along those fold lines. So, you know, you might not have to do things like this. But I just didn't want it catching on my piece that's folding over. So like that. And then what you can obviously do, so I've got some pretty ribbon somewhere. What have I done with that now? Oh, come on, pretty ribbon. Oh. Well, I say I have pretty ribbon somewhere, and now, of course, I can't see it. Hold on a second. Right, let me just get the ribbon. Oh, do you know, I'm thinking, has my daughter taken the ribbon and used it for something? Because it seems to be nowhere here in sight. Okay, well, I've got this pretty ribbon instead. Oh, this is not really the right colour, is it? It's a bit lilac-y. Yeah. That is a bit lilac-y. Oh, well, here we go. Perhaps this will be okay. It's not quite the right colour, is it? Oh, do you know, I'm just going to go for this because I could be here all day looking around for ribbon, and I don't want to kind of waste everyone's time just hunting around for stuff that, you know, is just buried somewhere. Right. Now, the other thing that you can, of course, do is round your corners. So, okay, I didn't think that was going to round all through them because it's pretty thick now. But yeah, it is rounding through the whole thing. And anywhere where it's not quite gone to the corners, if you see what I mean, you can obviously just go back in and round them separately. Let me just do a quick check, make sure that all my corners are looking rounded. Okay. Okay, right, okay. So like that, and then what we can do is we could just tie our ribbon up at the bottom. So at this point, it's up to you really with whether you want to leave this flap, this full size, if you see what I mean, or whether you want to make it shorter. I think either would be fine. But what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to glue my ribbon on the back. So I'm obviously making this thinking this is going to be a glued in piece. If you didn't want to glue it in, of course what you could do, and actually, you know, we've got these pieces here, you could make another pocket on the back. In fact, should we do that? Let's just do that. Which will obviously cover up your ribbon. So just going to cut that down slightly, like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to round those corners. Might put a thumb hole in this as well. So that's roughly around the middle. Okay, so we can just then glue this pocket down. Isn't this a lovely paper? So we'll just glue that one down like that. Okay. Right, there we go. And then what we want to do, so that's the back of it. So what we want to do is obviously put some ribbon here on the front that we're going to then tie, whoops, tie in a bow at the bottom. So I'm just going to cut my ribbon here, like that. So we could put it here like this. And then, you know, I will probably be covering this up anyway and decorating this. So yeah, let's just glue our ribbon down here, like that. Okay, and oh, let me find something to decorate this with. So I've got some snippet roll and things like that sat to the side of my desk. Oh, that's probably not the right, that's not the right thing to put on there, is it? Okay, let me just grab some clusters. I'm just grabbing anything that's kind of one of my ready-made type pieces to see if I've got anything that would be, you know, just suitable. Oh, she's lovely on there, isn't she? Let's just put her on there. So yeah, so this will be a good test to see how the fabric glues down on this piece. So squish that down like that. Okay, just hold that in place for a couple of minutes. Okay, move these out of the way. And then obviously what you can do is tie your ribbon up. So let me just, oops, cut my ribbon in half. It's still on a loop at the moment. Just going to attach that lace down there a little bit, just because it's actually flapping around a bit too much for my liking. So yeah, let's just kind of press that down like that. Okay, just pop a little bit around her, because obviously she wasn't necessarily glued down that brilliantly on the book page. Right, okay, so that's like that, and then at the bottom you can then just tie your piece together with a pretty bow like that. How gorgeous is that? So such a cute little pull out, isn't it? And of course, you know, you don't have to have a bow on there. You don't have to have that kind of closure at all. You could have a policy closure, you know, anything you like. So let's do another one. And obviously I haven't inked this up yet, but I suspect that this will look really nice when it's inked up. So shall I just quickly ink this up? And to be honest, although I feel like this is quite a complicated thing to make, yeah, because it's quite fiddly, so for me it feels quite complicated. That only took, I'm just looking at the clock, 19 minutes. So yeah, 19 minutes for something that I think's pretty complicated. That's pretty good, isn't it? You know, didn't really take too long, even though it felt like it was quite a fiddly thing. So we'll just ink the rest of that. But it's a brilliant thing to use up your 12 by 12 papers because, you know, of course, one sheet is, you know, or one piece is using up the entire sheet. Now I'm going to fold that back on itself to get round the edges. So yeah, still using my walnut stain. Yep, been using that for ages. It's just beginning to go a bit dry now, funnily enough. I mean, there's still plenty on there. You can probably see it's still, you know, plenty of ink. But yeah, it's just beginning to dry up. But I mean, my goodness, I've had it for ages now. Well, it feels like ages. I don't know, but yeah, it certainly feels like a long time. So, I mean, look at that. That was really inky, isn't it? Okay, right. Just go around the edges. Like that. Okay, and then just open this side. Like that. You'll see my final edges here. Like that. So yeah, if you've got some, you know, scrapbooking paper and things that you kind of just think, oh, you know, could do with using that up, you know, even if you're not following along with this series and using up a whole paper pad, you know, these are quite a good little thing to make, I think. I mean, the only thing that I would say is these are something that I feel needs to be where you like both sides of the paper. Because of course you're going to see both sides of the paper, but providing that you do, I think they're, you know, they're quite a nice one to make, aren't they? So again, we can just obviously tie this closed. Obviously it's now wanting to open because I've just been bending it backwards, but yeah, previously it was fine. Oops, oh my goodness, come on. Don't know what's going on with my tie-in skills, but they are not very good, are they? So, like that. Isn't that just such a gorgeous little piece? So let's do another one and we'll do a different kind of closure, shall we? So, yep. Oh, what did I do with those other 2 pages? Was it these? Yeah. Okay, so these are the other 2 pages. So let's take this one. I mean, isn't this just a lovely page? Which now I'm thinking, actually, did we use this page on something? I'm going to be sorry when I've used this up. I think we might have used this on the first piece that we did. Oh well. Right, okay. So again, going in, I'm judging by eye, squishing in my 3 sides. So one side there, like that. And then the other side here. So again, obviously you can see it's miles away, not really reaching. So I'm just going to open it out and then take my other piece in like that. Okay. So, and again, I've left that couple of millimeters space on the side there, just to the side, you know, so as I've got room to fold my pieces in. Then obviously turn it round, do your other sides, so like that, just squishing that in, and again you can see it's nowhere near, so fold that up this way again. Oops, I can't see my fold line, sorry, the light you know, was just catching it in the wrong place and I just couldn't see where the fold line was. Okay, so again, squish that down like that. Okay, so, you know, this is my worst part where we now obviously have to cut those 4 squares out. So again, I've just put my glasses back on so that I can kind of see. Oh my goodness. Right. But, you know, you can see that obviously, even if, you know, if you're a bit like me and you're a bit rubbish at cutting along these kind of folded lines, it's not a big deal because it was very simple to just go in and tweak that, wasn't it? And, you know, trim up the odd one that we need to trim. So, you know, don't stress kind of if it's, you know, if you're not cutting it quite perfectly, you can just go in and tweak it afterwards. So there we go. And then this one. Like that. And there. I mean, that one I think probably will need trimming, because I think I went off of the folded line, but I just find things like this very, very tricky to do. They're not really my forte. Anything precise is not my forte, it's got to be said. Right, okay, so this is my obviously little piece now. So this is going to be our pocket, and then I just want to check how my bits are folding in so that I can then gauge what needs trimming down. So of course this is a problem here. I need to trim this one down slightly, so I'm just going to tweak that here like that. Okay. Okay, so my piece goes over now fine, so that's all good. So then the next piece that I need to do is just trim down here. Like that. Turn it over to do the other side. Okay, and then just trim that down for my pocket. So, like that. Right, now can I make a double pocket there? Only just. If I go up there. Well, I'll do it however. So I'm just going to put that there and do that trick that I saw on Rachel's channel, where she puts the bits of paper together, so then they're definitely in the right place. Okay, punch my little thumb holes out like that. And I'd forgotten to ink my pieces on the last one, so I'm just going to ink those quickly. Obviously, if you do that, you can just always, you know, put a piece of paper underneath while you're inking once they're glued down. But obviously, it's easier to do it now. Okay, right. Now, do I want that one behind there? Yeah, that looks gorgeous. Doesn't that look lovely? Okay, so we would take this piece and glue this down. Oh dear. Okay. So, yep, got that piece there. And then just fold my other piece, or sorry, glue my other piece down. Okay. Oh, what's happened to my wipe now? There it is, under my ink pad. Well, the ink pad lid anyway. So squish that down like that. Make sure it's all glued in. Like I say, that glue seems to dry really quickly. Okay, so just double checking that my pieces are all folding down nicely. So they are. So that's all fine. So the only piece that I've got overhanging slightly is that front, you know, front cover. So I just want to take that down slightly. Like that, okay. Right, now I haven't decided yet what closure we're going to do for this. So yeah, let's have a bit of a think. Oops, not making a good job of this. Okay. Oh, it's not wanting to punch through that. Right, okay. Just go around my edges, my corners. Okie dokie, right. Yeah, so let's have a think what other closure we could do. So now you can probably see I've got a torn piece on that paper, so I could quite easily rectify that. I could pop some glue here, and that will just obviously, you know, can glue that down. Alternatively, I could obviously cut this down, because that flap doesn't really need to be, I guess, the whole way, you know, the whole length. Or I could obviously have a little pocket even on the front, which might be quite nice, mightn't it? So let's just have a think, because I was obviously, you know, I said that we would come along and do a different closure, didn't I? So let's have a look. Got this one here. Right, so let's just see if we had a pocket on here. We could pop that on the pocket, couldn't we? That would be quite nice. I don't know why I'm not liking that gold on there at all. Oh, sorry. Yeah, not liking that gold very much. So let's just take another couple. Just ink my circles a little bit. Oops. Like that. Okay, get rid of that. So yeah, I'm thinking a pocket on there might be rather nice. So let's just have that there. Again, want to have probably a thumb hole. So again, just kind of judge by, oops, oh my goodness, that's like the smallest thumb hole on the planet, isn't it? Let's go back in. Oh, now we've got like the biggest thumb hole on the planet. Oh dear. Right. Oh dear, what a bodger, honestly. Right, so yep, we're going to have that on like that. Now I've just got, this is obviously one of those that, you know, I cut and got the fold on there slightly. That's fine actually. So I'm just going to pop that down on the front. So I will just glue down here. Like that. Okay. Pop that one down like that on there. Okay, and then just, yep, spread my glue out. Making sure that that's now glued down. Oh, you know what I forgot to do, don't you? I did not ink that before sticking it down. So this was exactly what I meant, was if you forget, like me, to do that, you can always just poke your, you know, poke some scrap paper in the space and just ink around it like that. So yeah, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Okay, let's hope that's a bit straight on there. Just a bit straight. Let's hope it's completely straight. Again, just trim that off there. I'm just going to trim here because I've just got this weird looking bit. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. Yeah, no point keeping that. It's just not really any point keeping that at all. Round my corners like that. Okay. Sorry, that corner wasn't quite rounded. And then I'm just going to go around and obviously ink the entire thing again. I mean, I know I say this, you know, but I just think the inking just makes such a difference. You know, it can really take it from looking, well, not nothingy, but, you know, quite boring and plain, to just looking like a gorgeous, tactile, squishy, lovely, vintagey piece, you know. So, I mean, I always think it is worth the extra time to just go around and ink it. But, you know, of course, it's personal choice again. And actually, not just personal choice, but it may depend on the papers that you're using. Because sometimes you might have, you know, papers that actually don't really need inking. You know, they look amazing on their own and they don't need inking. I mean, yeah, it's all just personal choice, really. But I do always, you know, find the inking process makes a massive difference to the finished look, is how I, you know, how I feel. And I know I've said this before, but, you know, I know that Rachel, for instance, she never really inks anything. And it always looks amazing. Always looks amazing and always looks vintage. And yet she's not inked anything. So, yeah, she's got, you know, this fantastic knack of capturing vintage without inking. So I don't know how she does that. But, yeah, it's very, very clever. You know, for me, I feel like it needs to be inked to look truly vintage. Okay. There we go. Oops, I've just noticed that I've got square corners here, so I'm just going to round those. Oops. Didn't really like that, did it? Probably needing emptying. Okay. Oh, and I would be using my bigger corner punch because, you know, I recently bought the bigger one. I'm only not because it's downstairs. I'd been using it for something else and I'd left it downstairs now. So, yeah, I was crafting in bed before I went to sleep. And, oops, it's still downstairs in my bedroom. Oh, my goodness, I can't get that through there at all. Let's see. I've got the strength. I've got the muscle power. Ah, there we go. Right. Oh, do you know, for a minute I thought, oh, I've mucked this up. I put the pocket on there. It's okay. That pocket is on the outside. Yeah, it's on my flap. But you know, when you first spot something and think, oh, what have I done? What have I done? It was one of them moments. Right, I'm going to pull in some pretty pink twine and I'm going to use, I think, some of my brads that I coloured the other day. So let me just have a look and see what brads I've got that I could use for this. So, oh, I could use that heart one actually. Trying to be a bit better at actually using some things that, you know, otherwise I just never do actually get round to using. So, yeah, very bad for just using the same old stuff all the time. So, need to be a bit more adventurous perhaps. So let me get my pokey tool. Poke my holes in my circle. Oops. Okay, do we want the heart or do we want the circle? Well, let's have the heart. I never use hearts. I don't know. To me, they don't feel very vintage, but, you know, I don't know really why, you know, why I feel that way. But yeah, they just don't feel vintage to me. Oh dear. That heart really shows up where I've not punched the hole in the centre, doesn't it? Oh, that's another reason for not using a heart, I guess. But there we go. That doesn't look too bad, does it? So, yeah, I'm going to obviously glue this down. Oh dear. Not used my hot glue yet. So, yeah, it's just kind of collected a little ball of glue on the end. Not used it yet today, perhaps I should say. Obviously I have used it. Have used it in previous times, but not today. There we go. So that's my little thing to put my string round. And then again, depending on whether this is going to be glued down in a journal or as a pull-out piece, will depend how you attach your string on the back. So I'm just going to glue this down here. And what you could do is you could actually make a pocket. So I'm just going to kind of take one of these and make a pocket. Actually, I'm going to cut it off that way. And then if you came to actually glue this into a journal and you've got a pocket and you think, oh, well, actually, I don't need that pocket now, and it's bulking it out, then what you could do is obviously just tear that pocket off. So yeah, I would kind of say that's quite a good little thing to do. So I'm just going to have this way round, I think. Okay. Like that. I'll just glue this on. Like that. check that's down. Yep. Okay, pop that in there. Oh, I did forget to round the corners of this, so that's a bit annoying. Never mind. It looks okay. To be honest, you don't really even notice. In fact, I'm going to move it down slightly and then I'm just going to trim them off myself manually. There we go. So yeah, let me just go to those edges and there I can see those corners. I mean, to be honest, you can't actually really see them at all. But yeah, let's just go in 1 and 2. There we go. Again, just ink those corners up where I've just cut them. And then what you've got is obviously your string closure, which obviously I've not cut that off yet, but yeah, let me just cut that down. So, and that just winds around your piece there. So how gorgeous is that? I mean, to be honest, I love them both. But yeah, you can kind of, you know, vary them around. So let's do the final one. So luckily that one seemed to just take 20 minutes as well. So let's do the final one. So I've got this paper here. So again, just want to fold into thirds. Again, squish that down with the bone folder. I'm racking my brains now for other closures whilst I'm making this. So again, not quite to there. So I'm going to go into the inside again. Take it over kind of to about, you know, 1 millimetre or so away from the edge. Fold that down like that. Okay. And then again, take my piece the other way and do my into thirds the other way. So 1, like that. And 2. So again, just open that out and into there, like that. Okay. So again, pull my glasses down to do this. Oh, very tricky operation, which actually, oh, seems even trickier here. I can't see that one at all. It's like an invisible fold. Hopefully I can when yeah. I thought, well, hopefully I can when I turn it round and the light hits it differently. So thankfully I could. Otherwise I thought, well, I can't see that fold whatsoever. That really will be a problem. Okay. Like that. Open it out and do this one. Okie dokie. One. Okay, nearly done. Right, there we go, like that. So move them out of the way. So again, what I want to do is obviously check my pieces, how they're all folded in, and that's how I check then what needs trimming down and what doesn't. So for instance here, I need to obviously just trim this in or down as a pocket, so just trim that across there. Again, put that to there and do my hole punch. Okay, let's get my thumb hole. Okey-doke. Right, so that's my inner pockets. Just check that that's all folding in neatly around those. Yeah, so I didn't make too bad a job of cutting these, obviously, but I will just go in really slightly onto this edge. I mean, it barely needs it at all, but just, again, it's just so that I'm not hitting into that when I fold in, if you see what I mean. Because if you hit into that when you fold, then of course you're going to end up kind of in the end, you know, creasing your paper up, and it's just not going to look great. So yeah, okay, right, let's just ink these. Try and remember to ink this bit first. Yeah, so I hope that, you know, you feel inspired and that you've been crafting along with me, using up your 12 by 12 paper pads. I would love to hear how it's going. So for this one, I'm just going to glue it on the two sides, because then it's going to be a much longer pocket, if you see what I mean. So rather than having a short pocket or a small pocket, shallow pocket, it now has got that entire you know, length of the piece. And then I'm just going to glue this one in here, like that. Again, just take my wipe that down. Okay. Right, so this one needs trimming down here, and yeah, okay, so I'm just going to trim across here. I mean, to be honest, like I say, I mean, if you measure and, you know, you're much more precise with your cutting and things, you probably won't even have to do this tidying up. You know, you probably will find that yours all just goes in perfectly anyway. It's just because I'm very rubbish with my cutting that actually it's kind of then, you know, off to the side and things. But yeah, if you're a bit more precise, you probably won't even have to do this step. So it would be even quicker to make these. Okay. So obviously you can see, I mean, this one's turned out the tattiest out of all of them, because like down here, it's obviously, you know, it's off center, if you see what I mean. So this, oh no, actually, sorry, take that back. This is just this fold. So again, I can just trim this off and hopefully that will get rid of that. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, okay. So yeah, now it looks pretty good. So I've just got a little bit overhanging here on my cover. So again, just kind of take that, let's take that down slightly. Oops. Slightly there. Okay, looking good. Right, let's round the corners again. Ooh. Oh yeah, I'm still thinking, what am I going to do for the closure? Oh dear. Yep, not got an idea yet. There's an idea floating around in my mind. I'm not sure whether it would work brilliantly, but we could give it a try. Okay, right. These. Oh dear, I've made a horrible job of that corner. Probably that's due to my rubbish cutting, to be honest, but right, let's open it out and we will just do these. You know, and I mean, again, you don't have to round your corners at all. You could leave them not rounded at all. You know, these are just extra steps that I'm doing because I just think it, you know, it makes it look pretty, but by all means, feel free to miss steps, you know, and not do these things. You know, I don't think it looks horrible without the rounded corners. I think the rounded corners, you know, they look very pretty. They kind of add an extra layer of prettiness. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they're essential to do or anything like that. So just, you know, kind of make it your own and do what you fancy doing. But yeah, how's it all going? If you're joining along with me and you're feeling inspired to use up some paper pads or a paper pad, and let's face it, even just using one, that's all an improvement, you know, if you're anything like me. Because, yeah, currently I was not using, or previously I was not using them up at all. So, right, let me see which sides I have not inked. So this side here. Yeah, so which pads, I guess, have you used? That's always nice to maybe hear of other pads. I mean, hello, I'm already thinking about other pads that possibly to buy, even as I'm using up pads because I need to use them. I'm there questioning what other pads are there out there that I've not seen, which of course is not in the spirit of what we're trying to do here, is it? Okay, right, so I've got my piece here. Now, what I wondered is if I take, and actually I might take a really contrasting piece. I'm wondering if we could make a closure that would go from the back round. So So let's just take this like that. This is going to be way too wide, I think. Yep. But what I'm wondering is, you know, if we glue this down. So it's just like that. Just going to use my scissor handles. And I'm wondering then whether you could then have this velcroed on to that front piece, or magnets. You could use, you know, magnets or velcro, and then you'd open it, you know, like that. Which I just thought, well, how pretty would that be? Yeah, I think that's quite a nice idea. Now, do we go velcro or do we go magnets? That's the question. Let's put my twine away. Now, I bought some magnets, the same as some magnets that I had seen on Artie May's channel, and already I've mislaid them. I don't know where I've put them. They obviously arrived, and I thought, oh, let's put them somewhere safe. And of course, that's just the worst thing you could ever do, isn't it? Put them somewhere safe. You know, I know I've said this before, but really that's just code for never going to find them again. So I'm going to just use one of these magnets, which these are the original magnets that I had bought from Amazon. They are self-adhesive, so you know that's quite good. Yeah, it's just that I had seen Andrea and her magnets were very tiny, but she said very, very strong, and so you know I thought, oh, I would like to try her magnets. And like I say, they've arrived and I've promptly lost them, so yeah. I mean, they will turn up, obviously. They're somewhere here in my craft room, but who knows when they will turn up. So I'm just trimming this down because I thought, oh, perhaps it's actually a little bit on the big side. But yeah, I'm thinking kind of like that. So let me just ink this. Like that. Okay. So I'm just going to glue this down on the back. Okay, like that. I mean, the other thing that you could do actually to, you know, as a closure is, of course, you could just tie, you know, string or ribbon or whatever just around like that from the back and tie it closed here. So that's another alternative closure. You know, you don't have to kind of do any of the things that I've done. Obviously, you could do something else. But yeah, I just thought I would quickly mention that because that would actually work quite well. So I'll just kind of demonstrate while that's drying on there. So yeah, you would just glue the ribbon or twine or string or, you know, whatever you fancy using on the back. And then just, so your ribbon or whatever would be tied, glued down there. And then you just have it tied like that, like a little bundle. So that's another potential kind of closure, which I think would be really nice. But for this one, I just thought, let's do something a little bit different and, you know, kind of do like a little kind of, I don't know, pull down flap or, yeah, I don't know what you'd really call it. But yes, a little pull down hinge type piece and do it like that. So all I want to do now is obviously take my magnet, and of course we're going to be gluing the magnets on. So let's just, now do I want to round the corners of this? Maybe. So I'll just round the corners before I glue that magnet on, which, oh, what a wally, I should have rounded the corners before gluing it on because it would have been easier to get to, but that's fine. So let's glue the magnets down. So like I say, these are self-adhesive. I do normally add a little bit of glue just as an extra precaution. So just going to kind of do that. I mean, I'm sure they would be fine, but I'm always a little bit kind of concerned that things are not going to actually be strong enough to hold long term. So it never hurts to put an extra little bit of glue. So there we go, like that. And let me just put my magnet away. I just cut them in half because then obviously they go further, which, you know, is all obviously brilliant. It's always good to make things go a little bit further, isn't it? Right, now. Then we want to obviously put something on here to just decorate this up. So I'm just having a quick look to see what I've got on my desk that might be, I mean, you could put just a nice pretty bow on there. We could have a bow above. What else actually? I'm just having a look to see. I've got some of those little cabashons. Oh, I don't know how you say that. I don't know why. I just should give up trying to say it, to be honest. That is very pretty, isn't it? So what I'm going to do, that's got, you know, that little hook piece where you'd obviously kind of join it with something. So I'm going to just cut that off with my little metal cutter things. So yeah, let's just get rid of that loop. Okay. Like that. And then she'll just glue on there. But what I could do is actually put some lace or something under her as well. So let me just see. Got this crochet lace. This might be way too thick because it might just bulk it right out. But kind of just wondering. Just fray the edges a bit because it's a little bit kind of uniformy looking. Oh, how pretty does that look? So, yep, I'm going to just glue this down. Like that. And then let's glue this straight down on there. How gorgeous does she look on there? She is lovely, isn't she? And then, of course, you know, could just kind of decorate up the back with some other pieces. So let me just see what I've got laying about on the desk. Oh, what have I got laying around? Nothing really that's going to look great with her, I'm pretty sure. Oh, this isn't too bad. So we could have a little number. That's quite nice. And actually, I'm just got one of these little postage stamp things, you know, from my die cut. So perhaps we could kind of just make a bit more of it, really, by having it like that or something. You know, and then you could obviously do some stamping and things, maybe like some stamped corners, or yeah, just like any little pretty bits and pieces. So I've just got this little flower. Oh, that's pretty on there, isn't it? Let's put that there. Oh, that looks so cute. Just put some more glue down. Okay, yep. Oh, I've just got some of those Tim Holtz people. Let me just see how these would look. Oh, well, it would look fine, but her bow, or whatever that is at the top of her head, is just now poking up everywhere. I mean, I could have them there, actually, like even behind the magnet. Or I could have them like that, I suppose. Something like that is quite nice, isn't it? Yeah, let me just ink these up a little bit because they look quite white, don't they, in comparison to everything else. Okay. So, yeah. Right, let me glue this onto here. Like that. Oh dear, it's gone wonky and lopsided. Okay. Yeah, and we can have that to the side. Now I'm just thinking, let's do a bit of stamping before I put that down. So I've just got my black stamp. Stays on. Do we want corners? I'm not sure as we want corners. I've got one of those gorgeous frames. I mean, we could do I don't know, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Do you know, all my stamps are actually downstairs for cleaning. Yep, cleaning, would you believe? Cleaning my stamps is something I never, ever, ever, ever do. But a few people had mentioned the Stays On stamp cleaner, and I just thought, oh, it's high time that I do actually try and clean some of my stamps, because maybe you guys are getting fed up with seeing me use such filthy stamps. So yeah, I did actually kind of take them downstairs to clean. And of course they are still down there because I'm still in the process of cleaning them. I'm just kind of cleaning them, you know, like when I'm watching TV in the evenings. I just kind of then clean the odd one then. So yeah, I have lots more cleaning to do, but they're still down there now. So got this, which unfortunately this stamp, which I absolutely love, it's actually broken now. Yeah, I can't remember what stamp it was. It might have been a Prima marketing one, but it was a gorgeous, gorgeous frame. And yeah, I mean, obviously it's very, very old, but it's finally given up the ghost and perished. So, right, let's just do a little bit of script. You can never go wrong with script, can you? It just looks good everywhere. So again, just go everywhere like that. Okay. Yep. And then we're going to just have this one here. Like that. And then those Tim Holtz girls can just go like that. Okay. Oops. Well, I must say I'm really liking this glue actually so far. So yeah, I mean, obviously it was pretty pricey, you know, I felt, but it is pretty good glue. And to be fair, when I then looked for the Anita's tacky glue, not only am I not able to get hold of it at the moment, even on the places where it's out of stock, it seemed to have gone up from $2.99 for the large one to $4.29. So, you know, maybe I'm just going to have to pay those kinds of rates anyway, in which case that kind of brings this down, doesn't it? So that's that one. And again, obviously could just finish this off by putting a pocket on the back or something if this were going to be a pull-out piece. Personally, I would probably use this actually glued down on a page now. You know, it's not too bulky. That's I have to use that word again, gabachon or whatever it's called. Let's call them cameos. Yes, I'm going to stop trying to call them that word I can't pronounce. This cameo, it's not too fat. You can probably see. I mean, it's not bulking it out hugely, but it is a little bit. So, I mean, I wouldn't tuck this into a pocket, for instance, because that would be lumpy under the pocket. But glued on a page, you know, I would glue it around 3 sides and have it as maybe a top loading pocket, or, you know, these 3 sides have it as a side loading or something. Then it's going to work fine. And then, of course, obviously this unfolds. You've got your pieces here and your pieces here. And then you've got your double pockets in here. And then, obviously, on these, you could just put some coffee dyed paper down. I'm not going to do that because, obviously, we're quite, you know, run for quite a long time now. But you could put some coffee dyed paper to journal on. Or, you know, if your paper is like this, for instance, you might not even need to do that because you could easily journal over this. It's not kind of, yeah, it's not really heavy coloured or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I just think they're really, really, really pretty, aren't they? And like I say, what a fantastic way to use up some paper pads, because actually that one sheet is used completely in, you know, one fell swoop kind of thing. So yeah, I hope that you like them. Hopefully it's given you some inspiration. As I say, I think we've only got now 1 episode left, which of course now, because I'm out of the papers from the pad, we will go back to the, you know, the previous pieces that we've made and make some ephemera with those bits of paper that I had kept by for them. So yeah, I hope that you have had fun today. Have fun if you decide to make some of these, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks then. Bye.